Welcome everyone to yet another meeting of Roseburg and Speakers and Storytellers. I am your Sergeant of Arms today, and I see we are all members here. It's just for me to repeat that we keep ourselves muted when we are not speaking. We will unmute for sure when we are speaking. If you could please put your role in front of your names. I see some of you have already done it. Others, you can please do that. We are the Hybrid Club. We meet every Monday, 7 a.m. Roseburg's time, and today is our special day, but I will let us all welcome our president, Ayu, because she is going to be doing a special meeting today. So back to you, Ayu.
Thank you very much, Sergeant at Arms Yasmin Talwala. Today we have a special something. What is that something? Our immediate past president, Tiger McKendy, will lead our election for today. With this, I hand over the control to Tiger.
Welcome everybody to RSS. And yes, today we will determine who is going to lead us for the next Toastmaster calendar year, which is July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Wow, even to say 2023, this just seems insane to me that we're moving that fast in time. So here's the way it will work. This is going to be very informal. So far, we've only had one person announced for each position. So we'll go over each position. I will announce who has claimed that position. If anyone else wants that position, let us know. And each person then will have 2 minutes to give a talk about why they would be good, and then we will vote. So, President. The only person that has indicated that they would like to be our president is, drum roll please, Yasmin. Yay, Yasmin. Is there anybody else who would like to be the president of RSS for next year? Going once, going twice, going 3 times, sold to the lady from India. Everyone, unmute and give a big round of applause to Yasmin, who we all know will be a fantastic president. I'm very excited. So this is like a double pass of the torch, because I passed the torch to Ayu and she's passing the torch to Yasmin. Next is a very important position. As a matter of fact, I believe the single most important position of any club. And this is the VP of Education. Ayu shaking her head because she's been that. Yasmin shaking her head because she's been that. Michelle shaking her head because she's been that probably at least a dozen times. The one person who has volunteered to be our VP of Education is Rakaya. Is there anybody else that would like to be our VP of Education? Going once, going twice, sold to Yukaya. And I am so excited. This is going to be a great experience for you. And you have Yasmin and Ayu. And if you're really desperate, you have me for help. Number 3, the VP of Membership. Of course, another very, very important position, because without members, we do not have a club. Our candidate for VP of Membership is Michelle. Is there anybody else that would like this position? All right. Michelle, you are the new VP of Membership. All right. Thank you, everyone. Give her a round of applause. VPPR. We do not at this point have anybody who has volunteered to take on VPPR. Is there anybody here currently that doesn't have a role who would like to be our VPPR? Okay, then at this point, we will leave this position open and hopefully we'll get it filled within the next month or two. Secretary, I believe that Mary has indicated that she will be our secretary. Is there anyone else that would like to be our secretary? Okay, then we will assign Mary to be our secretary. Repeat, she did a great job last time, so this was nice to have this kind of experience. Treasurer, Michelle. Anybody else want to keep track of all our money? Actually, it's really, we don't have any money, but they do have to make the payments for membership, which is a very important position. Anybody else want to do that? All right, then, Michelle, you will be our treasurer once again. This is very helpful for Yasmin to have people that have experience in positions. This makes the presidency just that much easier. The SAA. Would anybody like to be the SAA? Some guy named Tiger volunteered to be the SAA. Is there anybody else that would like it? All right, for now, I will go ahead and assume the position of SAA. If anyone would like to take that position, I will train them and we'll move on with that. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have a leadership team of every position except for VPPR, and I'm sure that we will make that happen soon. All right, unmute. We have a leadership team that I think we can all be very, very, very proud of. RSS is in good hands. Back to you, Miss President.
Thank you very much, Tiger, for leading Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers election. By July, maybe the first week or second weeks, the exco will be installed by the area director of area 22 director. We will have the installation, exco installation. So that's from me. And let's just get started with our regular meeting. Toastmaster of the day today, very special. Far away come from Mexico. Ishel.
Thank you very much, Ayu. Yes, from Mexico. Okay, and we are almost ending May, and for a new month. The theme today is sources of power. What do you like to do that gives you power? Maybe a delicious breakfast in your bed? Let me show you a little things here. Like this. Would you like to wake up and sit in this place and enjoy a delicious breakfast or something like this? Or stay with a friend in a great date, in a great moment, like here in Mexico with the sunshine. Or maybe play with your puppies, with your dogs, run. What gives you power in your day? Or take your day out and go to swim in a waterfall, warm water to enjoy the moment. Or maybe take a little adrenaline to start the day or the week, making something like that. What are your sources that give you power? Okay, and in also this, I want to say it's really to start the week with Toastmasters here also gives me power to enjoy the day, to be happy, and see you also and hear all your things, your ideas, your comments. That also is a source for it's like a food in my life, really. Okay, now let me present the team to make this great meeting. I would like to call to Aju that she is our grammarian and accountant. Please, Aju, give us your role and the screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Ishel. Today I will be serving as grammarian and accountant. And my primary job is listen very careful. And then if there is a grammatical mistake, I will point it out at the end of the meeting on my report, when I deliver my report. But I will be focusing on beautiful language or the words, the phrase that is very not common for me. That I will share the meaning of the word with all of us. As a counter, my job is listen very careful on the filler words that all of us will use, might use, may not use. And if it is disrupting, I will point it out. Our word of the day is ameliorate, to make better, improve. It is a verb, ameliorate. And I will share that in the chat in a moment. Over to you, Madam Toast.
Thank you, Aju. Now it's time for another member to make this great meeting. Is for the role timer, that is Jasmine. Jasmine, could you explain us your role?
Thank you, Ma'am Toastmaster of the day. So I will be taking up as the timer for today. My task will be to time the speeches and indicate on the time to the speaker. I will be using virtual background. So I will show green like this when it is the time, it's a good time, yellow when it is time to start wrapping up, and red when it is just on the line, on the finish line. And I say this because there is 30 seconds buffer time between the red. This is my tool to alert you about the times. The speeches today, I will let you know the speech time. Sorry, I'm just trying to, the speech, when we have one of the speaker today and it's a different speech. So the speech schedule for the speaker is 10 to 12 minutes. For the speaker today, I will show green at 10 minutes, yellow at 11, and red at 12. For table topic speakers, it's going to be 1 to 2 minutes. So you will see green at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. And for the evaluator, it is going to be 3 minutes. So you will see green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. And I will also report the timing in the chat box. I hope that you will not be overtiming and maintaining the time for the meeting. This is something I'll let you know towards the end of the meeting. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Jasmine, to let us know exactly the time for each part of our meeting. For example, the first is for our prepared speaker, that you let us, the time in this case is 10 to 12 minutes. Then we have a part for the table topic. The end, we have the part of evaluation, that our general evaluators of today is Ruku. Ruku, could you explain us your role? Yes, no, just only for explain your role.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm General Evaluator, and at the end of the meeting, I'll be giving my comments about how the meeting was today, letting everybody know if there is some scope to get better, and that I will convey at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Roku. Now it's time to start. First with the prepared speaker, that our speaker is Michelle. Michelle is going to be evaluated by Sarah. Michelle started the strategic relationship path back in 2016 when Pathway had just been launched. She completed several other paths but left the path unfinished. Today, she will reflect on her growth during the completion of the strategic relationship path. The title of her speak is "It Takes a Village," with a time 10 minutes to 12. Michelle, Madame, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Madame Toastmaster. And thank you everyone in the club, because you are all supporting actors in this movie or in this path, strategic relationships. As Ixchel mentioned, yes, I started this path early on, way back in 2017. Pathways had just rolled out, and in fact, very few people were on Pathways. Most people were still working or completing what was then known as the legacy or the traditional program. I chose strategic relationships for several reasons. One, the title of the path really caught my attention. Strategic, not just social relationships or whatever relationship. Strategic, that word caught my attention. It also was a potential. It had potential for me to look back on my own relationships and see whether I had been strategic or not. And finally, my third reason was this was actually the third path that I chose. The first one was presentation mastery, and then I started working in that immediately. Visionary communication, and this was my third one. And the reason being that I chose it as the third is obviously presentation mastery had to be the first one, because we are Toastmasters. We strive to learn presentation or communication. I took visionary communication because a very good friend who was a Pathways pioneer, and many of you know her, Julie Kurtesh, had started in visionary communication. So as I was evaluating her speeches, I noticed that visionary communication had some very interesting speeches. So I took that. Strategic, as I said, strategic relationships. I signed up for it, I paid for it, but then I just ended up setting it aside when there were other paths that came up more interesting, especially engaging humor, which I quickly completed. But here we are with strategic relationships. What happened with it is I realized it takes a village to complete a path like this. And not only does it take a village, but you also need to create some kind of synergy, some kind of energy or power, as our theme is. And I personally, I love the word magic. So it takes a village to create magic. And these are some of the lessons I learned in creating that magic for an entire group, so that you would have relationships that are not just transactional or social, but truly strategic. So magic is an acronym. Get ready, Tiger. I know Tiger knows that I go for acronyms. So Magic is an acronym of 5 words. M stands for meaning, and I'll go into that in a short while. A is for acceptance. G is for growth, which is another word for ameliorate, our word of the day. I is for individual. Everybody, it may be a village, but everyone is an individual, and we have to recognize that. And C, I couldn't even decide what to use for C because there are so many C's. Communication, cooperation, collaboration. I love all 3, so I will work back and forth between these 3 C's. I found out early on that if you want to get people involved in anything, there must be a meaning for them. Whatever activity you're asking them to get engaged in must be meaningful. Perfect example was when I realized that unlike myself back then, I was so excited about Pathways and Julie, and we had a small group of very excited people. Most of the Toastmasters world, people were not interested. In fact, many were not only reluctant, but resistant. Sad to say, some even decided to leave because the traditional program would be ending. So you needed to have meaning to engage people. And when I would reach out to people to ask for help, I would strive to find out what does this mean for them. For example, one of the very active helpers for my projects was a lady, some of you might know her, maybe yes, not sure, but Carol McCulloch down in Australia. For her, the meaning was discovering how to create lessons, how to communicate the lessons simply, and how to do it in storytelling. So once she got that meaning for herself, she would do almost anything. There were so many projects that we collaborated in together. And so that brings us to the letter A of magic, acceptance. There were times that we would have differences in our approaches. We would have differences in what we wanted to do or how we wanted to do it. And I realized that it was very important to have acceptance. You cannot try and change somebody else. You can try, but you cannot change them. So the best thing is to accept how they see things and maybe work together to come to a common way of doing things, but all the time accepting that there will be differences. And in fact, another letter A that I constantly came upon was agreement. You agree to disagree agreeably. So you accept each other's differences and strengths as well as shortcomings. And through all of the projects, and oftentimes when I would be thinking of a speech, I realized that growth was a key factor. That's my letter G in magic. If people are not growing, very soon they lose any interest in helping out. So there had to be challenges that people could overcome. Some of you, I think, might know Brian Dodd from Canada. Oh, I know Tiger does, and Ayu knows. Brian is constantly striving for growth. He's constantly stretching his knowledge. And he is such a young man. He's 82 years old young. He's constantly striving to ameliorate his knowledge in Pathways, to ameliorate his knowledge in Zoom, to ameliorate his knowledge in all kinds of social media. He's experimenting with Instagram and TikTok and all that. So this was a key factor. So M was meaning, A was acceptance, and G was growth. And then I circle back, the letter I is individual. As I mentioned earlier, you need to work with a group. You need to bring together an entire village to work together on projects. But each of those components of that group are individuals, and each individual has his or her own perspectives, their own desires, their own motives, maybe. And unless you understand that, unless I understood that, then it was very difficult to move forward with truly strategic relationships. And finally, as I mentioned, the letter C, so many C's, but I mentioned three: communication, cooperation, collaboration. Communication, I realized, is not as easy as many people think. It's not just talking or emailing or messaging. Oftentimes, it's choosing when not to communicate, because actually you're still communicating. I know certain Toastmasters, for example, who tend to have very, very strong views. And I realized that if during the height of those passionate expression of views, if I also try to communicate my own passionate views, then we just end up having a clash. So oftentimes, my best response is to not communicate for a while, just to let things subside. And oftentimes, that very process helps to bring people together. Cooperation is some people say it's a given, but cooperation, you cannot force a person to cooperate. You can have somebody come and sit with you. You can have somebody attend a meeting. You can have somebody take on a role, but if they really don't want to be there, then they might be physically there, but not mentally. So cooperation is something that I needed, or we all, if we have strategic relationships, we need to build that desire to cooperate. And that goes back to the other points I've mentioned. Help people have meaning in whatever you're asking them to do, accept them for what they are, help them to see the growth, respect them as individuals, and communicate with them so they will cooperate. And of course, if they're willing to cooperate, then you need to collaborate. That is such an important aspect, because I learned, for example, that because I oftentimes make decisions quickly, and from decision point, I will often do the Nike thing, just do it. But I realized I cannot just move on with certain decisions if I have a team, because there needs to be collaboration. And I need to understand and accept that some individuals may take time in a different way, may process things slower, may want to check everything before they want to move forward. In fact, although Dave, I had not met Dave when I started strategic relationships, but he's a perfect example of how we are different in certain ways, and it makes us stronger. He will want to do things in a very linear fashion. I will do things in a roundabout, just get everything started and do everything at the same time, 5 or 6 or 7 different things at the same time. Whereas Dave will want to do 1, 2, 3. And so this process needs collaboration. And oops, I am seeing the red light. I didn't realize that already. So there's so much more to share, but I will wrap up. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Wow, great speech for you. As I say at the beginning, you are my source of power also, with all the knowledge that you are giving us right now. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for this moment. Okay, now it's time for our second part of the meeting, table topic. Teja, it's now your time. Before to start with it, I would like to know what is your source power. Could you share with us?
My soul's power. I interpret that to mean what is my passion. And I think a lot of people throughout these meetings have heard me talk about travel. I think travel is what I'm passionate about and what gives what lends power to my soul. The theme of this meeting is source of power. This phrase can be interpreted in different ways. For example, it was communicated to me that the theme of the meeting is source of energy. In this case, the word energy was used interchangeably with power. So to prepare for being Table Topics Master, I Googled source of energy. And the results that came up were not about the things that an individual derives power from in their day. The results of my Google search were the things that, yes, power the world. So my table topics are about renewable and non-renewable energies. So we'll just have to make a metaphor out of this. What powers the world versus what powers the individual?
Okay, Deja. Thank you very much for sharing what is your sources and how you are preparing this. I let you the screen. Thank you, Deja.
Thank you, Ishel. So I know we have a shorter meeting today due to the elections and the long prepared speech. How many people will I be calling on, and do they have the same amount of time to speak?
We can go for 4 to 5 table topics. 4 table topics seems good. I'll alert you if we have more time. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, that leaves me with, I'll skip Michelle since she just did her long speech, and Ishel is the Toastmasters for today. So let me choose Requia. Requia, this is a fun question and one you can come up with any sort of story that you want. If aliens with advanced technology were to visit the Earth, what source of power do you think they'd use? Where do you think they would derive power in, say, their spaceships?
Can you please repeat the question for me?
Yes. If aliens with advanced technology were to visit the Earth, what source of energy do you think they'd use? What would power their spacecrafts?
I'm not able
help.
to get the question.
Aliens are in nature and the bullshit about.
Sorry, but I'm not able to get your question.
The what? I'm sorry. The question. Aliens, are you familiar with aliens?
Yeah.
And if they were to visit the Earth, for example, our devices are powered by electricity, and that electricity could be derived from coal, natural gas, oil, hydropower, solar power, wind power, nuclear power, geothermal power. Or you can get metaphorical and say maybe their spacecrafts are powered by the power of thought. There is energy in everything. The world is alive with energy, and it is constantly being transmitted and transformed. So if you wanted to get creative with what you thought about how aliens might get power, where do you think they could? What are those sources?
Okay, fine. Thank you for the question. If aliens would have visited Earth, the source of power which they would be using would be mm,
When I think of aliens, I think of space. And I think their main source of energy would be coming from maybe the sun, because the sun exists in space. I expect a lot of I would think that their spacecrafts are powered by the solar energy.
I'm sorry, but I would like to pass the question.
Okay, is there anybody else that feels that they have this question has gotten their mind working? Go ahead, Tiger.
Akeem raised his hand. Let our guest take it. Go, Akeem. It's all yours,
not-
buddy.
And also Barun, I think that he also has the answer. He would like to.
I would pass it to Akib. Akib is a better speaker about aliens rather than me. Go, Akib.
Go, Akeem. Come on, buddy.
Okay, thank you. If aliens are supposed to visit the Earth, what source of power they would use? So there is a Bollywood movie called Krish, in which alien seriously comes to Earth, and just because of certain incident, he could not move out. The actor keeps that alien inside his house, and when he is inside house, he doesn't get any power, so he's unable to come out. He is feeling very weak. One day they take alien to show a football match, in which alien, when he looks outside, and when he is out in the sun, he gets the energy back, and that is where the actual charisma of alien started. And then actor started to use his power to power himself. So if aliens are supposed to visit Earth, and if they have a spacecraft, 99% chances are it will come from Earth. Where does Earth gets the power from? Earth is getting power from hydrogen. Hydrogen is abundant in the space, and when one hydrogen collides with another hydrogen, there is a exothermic reaction which happens, and you get a lot of energy. So it's very much evident, so it has to come from hydrogen, and it's very much evident that the source power, I mean inspiration, which is coming to spacecraft will have to be from sun. But how many of you want aliens to visit the Earth? Are you all excited to see aliens on the Earth? I think we already have Elon Musk. You can see, you can read his tweets. You can find how he behaves in normal condition. You can see the excitement when he talks about aliens. So let us not wait for aliens to come. Let us start watching Elon Musk tweets, messages, and videos. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Akib. I like how you went further than just the sources of power. You went elemental with it and broke down the source of power. Like solar power is basically the breaking down of the hydrogen atom. Another way that you could have gone with it is to say Superman. Superman is an alien. He's from what planet is he from? Krypton. And he gets his superpowers from the sun, from our yellow sun. So he is, in essence, powered by the sun. Okay. I'm willing, if anybody else feels particularly inspired by that question and would like to answer it, feel free to volunteer. Otherwise, I'll move on to my next question. All right. Oh, go ahead, Tiger.
So I saw a video once, and they hooked a Shami up to an electric train, and he started to concentrate, and the train went real slow, and then all of a sudden this train was just going crazy from his energy. So I'm thinking I like the idea of energy coming from thoughts. Now, let's have some fun with this. So we have a spacecraft. We put a guy in a spacecraft. Now, we all know that men have long periods of time where they don't think. This has been proven. Women can't understand this because women think 24/7. Women never stop thinking. So imagine this guy in a spacecraft. He's cruising along. He's heading to work. And then all of a sudden, the spacecraft just stops. He's just sitting there. Someone calls him, hey, you're late for work. Oh, yeah. And then he starts thinking again. Off he goes. Now, let's think about the woman. Thankfully, none of you guys can slap me, so I can say what I want. Imagine this spacecraft going, and it's heading north. But a female cannot concentrate on going north for more than about, 23 seconds. So all of a sudden, the spacecraft starts going east, and then it stops, and then it dives, and then it stops, and then it goes up, and then it stops, and then it goes to the right, and then it stops. This would be total chaos. We would have to have airspace for females separate from airspace from guys, or we're going to just have crashes everywhere. It would actually be fun to sit off and watch the female highway because it would just be this entertaining. I know. What can I say? But this is true. This is absolutely true. They've done a lot of research. Women never stop thinking. And when they ask the guy, what are you thinking? And he says nothing, they cannot, under any circumstances, understand that. And they think he's lying. Oh, you must be thinking about another woman, or you're thinking about something. No, honestly, I'm not thinking about anything. Back to you, Deja.
Thank you, Tiger. That was fun. I like the metaphor between if spaceships were powered by the power of thought, how would they be powered differently between the male and the female mind? That's a really interesting perspective. Okay, let's see. Let's go with Ayu. And I'll go a little bit more along with the initial theme of the actual theme of the meeting, and go more to individual energy and individual power. What gives you power throughout the day? What gives you power when you wake up in the morning? What is it that energizes you personally in the longer sense of your life? It could be, I'm giving you a widespread with this question. What energizes you in the morning, throughout the day, when you start to get really sleepy at work in the afternoon, or in your bigger sense of your life? What is it that gives you energy and power? I think we're
Motivation. Motivation, that's my energy. So I always constantly reminding myself about something. I always make something so excited to me. So I want to do that. For example, I am gaining some weight, and I was thinking what to do. So I make myself a trip to a mountain, Rinjani in Lombok, next to Bali. In that case, my motivation every day, wake up in the morning, start train myself. Hopefully, I will lose some weight. So motivation is my energy. It's the things that I always create to myself to do something. Wake up in the morning, have a reason to wake up. Over to you.
Thank you, Ayu. What I got from that is that what energizes you is to always remember what is your motivation, that to constantly have a reason to do whatever it is that you're doing each day. Thank you very much. Let's go to Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Sarah,
Hi.
you in Germany right now?
Yes.
Do they have anything in the news in Germany about power, about maybe renewable energies, or for example, gas prices? Prices come from oil and our fossil fuels. What's going on in Germany that has to do with sources of energy?
In Germany, we have right now a very big problem with gas and other sources of energy. And the main reason for that is that this country is not able to provide all the energy that it requires, so that Germany is importing gas and other energy sources from countries like Russia, Poland, and some others, which is at this moment a bit difficult to get all those resources. So that's why the prices are getting higher and higher every month. However, there's one very good news that I'm very happy about. The government, together with the transportation companies, are trying to repair these unbalanced prices that are getting higher and higher for gasoline and some other sources of energy for cars, so that they are inviting people not to use their cars anymore for 3 months, and they are offering tickets for public transportation for only €9 a month. Yeah, you hear that well. €9, and you can travel all around the country in the trains starting in June. So I'm really happy about this, but I'm also thinking how it's gonna be with all the people wanting to travel by train. Let's see. So back to you, Deya.
Thank you, Sarah. That's interesting to think about. I think about the differences between a country like Germany, which is in Europe, with all these countries so close together, and a country like the US. Public transportation is definitely much more developed in Europe than it is in America. So we're all driving our cars separately. Public transportation would be good for the US to take advantage of these higher prices to focus more on public transportation, because it would not just ameliorate these these enormous gas prices, but also help us in the long run with our with how we take care of the earth and the exhaust that we're putting out there. How are we doing on time for table topics? That was 4. Go on another one.
Go ahead. I think Varun expressed interest. We have Varun, Shilpi Noor, some guests are around in case they're interested. Go ahead, Deja.
Okay. Varun, are you interested in speaking?
Absolutely, table Toastmaster.
Thank you. Hello. Would you like
Hello.
to take an existing question, or would you like a new one?
A new one, please.
Okay. I always like to offer an existing question, because I know when I hear someone talk about a question during the table topics, my mind starts getting going, and I start thinking about what I would say if I had received that question. So I'd like to offer that to people. Let's see. Tell me about how wind, oil, or geothermal power affects your life, or hydropower. For example, for me, I work for Bonneville Power Administration, and we are part of the Department of Energy. we get our power from the dams in the rivers in the area. So hydropower is what basically employs me.
How many of you ever considered or ever wondered where is the electricity or where is the light provided to you is coming from? I, for one, absolutely am curious on how or from where is that electricity coming from. I always try to figure out, is it the coal which is being burned to produce the electricity, or is it the nuclear fission, or is it the hydroelectricity? Few years ago, while I was in my hometown back in India, I would go ahead and travel around my city and around those villages wherein there was a small river. And along the lines of those rivers, we had a hydroelectricity dam. Now, this dam was open for tourist purposes. That means I could go down the dam, literally through the glass door, and could see what exactly goes behind the hydroelectricity. I was absolutely curious on how does all that happen. You see, hydroelectricity is not a big rocket science. It is very simple. There are three things involved: water, blades, and electricity. On the blades, you have water falling continuously, and because of that, the movement it creates, it forms a kind of electricity. That was the only thing I could understand. I am not an engineer, I am a cook, I am a chef. For me, hydroelectricity was something absolutely curious. So, until and unless you don't know the reason why it is being there, or you want to find the reason why it is there, don't stop. Try to explore things which you have never explored. Go down in the deep sea, because you never know what you will learn new. Every day is a new learning. Over to you, Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Arun. I think we could relate that to Ishel's initial intent for the theme of the meeting, that we have electricity and what sources of energy are being transformed into that electricity. Where is our electricity coming from? And to relate that to Ishel's initial intent of the theme of the meeting, there are probably multiple sources for what powers that you as an individual, what gives you energy throughout the day, what makes you passionate. There are multiple sources. That electricity going through your body could be fueled by anything. And yes, Varun, as a chef, food is definitely something that powers me in more ways than one. I'm a foodie. I love food. So that definitely energizes me. All right, for now, I will turn it over to do I turn it over to Ishel after? Okay. Back to the Toastmaster of the day, Ishel.
Ishel, you're muted.
Oh, yes, ready. Thank you. Thank you very much for your question, Deja. They are so great. And thank you for the participation of everyone. And say, Varun, you never know what you can learn. And that is one of my source, my power of the week, of the Monday Toastmasters, because every day with you, I learn new things. Okay, now it's time for the next part of the meeting, for evaluation. That here in this part evaluation, we can ameliorate things that we do during our meeting. Okay, so I give the power to our general evaluator, Rukaya. The screen is yours.
Thank you once again, Toastmaster of the day. So now let us conduct the feedback session of the meeting and see where we all can ameliorate and move forward so that we can improve ourselves And I would first like to call upon Sarah to evaluate Michelle's speech.
Thank you, Ruku. And thank you, Michelle, for sharing with us your lessons learned and all your knowledge about this pathway. Congratulations for finishing it. I know it is a long way of learning, and you brought today this magic in our meeting to show us how to do it, to inspire us, and to give us these learnings. Create the magic takes a village. That was a great title. Let me tell you first the 2 points that I really liked about your speech, and then I will give you 2 recommendations to ameliorate your speech for the next time. I like how at the beginning you explained the reasons why you choose this path, strategic relationships. For me, it was a lot about yourself, about what you wanted to learn about your own relationships and about your communication. And that's, I think, one of the reasons how we choose and why we are here at Toastmasters, to know about us, to know about our communication. The second thing that I really liked is how you structure this speech to feel the acronym MAGIC. It was for me very innovative, and I really like the letter you use, meaning, acceptance, growth, individual, and then for C, collaboration, cooperation, communication. And for each of those letters, you had some short story with a personalization of what inspired you and what you learned. I really like this structure. Now let me tell you 2 things that you could implement in this speech to improve it. The first one is start with a stronger introduction and finish with a stronger conclusion. For the introduction, I noticed you started giving us some reasons why your speech, and so I was not sure if you were already starting. Then I noticed you were already explaining something about the development of your pathway. How about start with a question, very strong. How do you choose a pathway? And then we start thinking, and then you can start develop how you choose that pathway, etc. At the end, for the conclusion, you notice that you didn't have time anymore and you just finish. Why don't finish with a stronger call to action, some conclusion that we can remember, and some lesson, something like very strong. And my second recommendation will be, because this is a longer speech, try to include the audience in your speech, maybe with some rhetorical questions or with some actual questions that it could be more interactive. So thank you again, Michelle, and congratulations on your pathway. I hope you can share with us many, many more learnings about your next projects. Back to you, Ruku.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for your evaluation. Now, I would like to call upon our grammarian and counter of the day to give her report about the meeting.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. In this short moment of my report, I would like to say hi to Akib and Silpi And Farun, hi, welcome guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, this is mine. Thank you for joining us. So thank you everybody for saying the word of the day to Michelle, Deja, and Ruku. Me as the grammarian, I miss that too. Ayu is Ayu. And then for the grammarian report, the other one is I heard somebody say unfinished. I used to say that too. I think the pronunciation is supposed to be unfinished. Unfinished. I heard somebody say question. I think the pronunciation is question. And higher, supposed to be higher. The next thing is the words and phrase that I like. Agree to disagree. Charisma. I even look it up. Compelling attractiveness. So I didn't hear this word quite sometimes. And then collide. Hit with force when moving. Collide. This is not new for me, but I, thank you to Akib. Using this word make me remember about the word collide. And then hydroelectricity. Thank you, Deja, for sharing that. I even look it up that we do have 5 types of electricity: coal, water, nuclear, solar. Oh, you did mention that earlier too. On the counter report, I hear and so. After and so, I heard somebody start a speech with so. I heard someone say in the middle of speech, and it's quite long. And lately, somehow, I don't hear people say, but they say, you see. Well, this is the same thing, right? Just different form. That's my report. Thank you so much. And over to you, back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Ayu, for your report. Now I would like to call upon Ms. Yasmin Telwala for her timer report.
Thank you, ma'am. Toastmaster of the day. I do not have any ineligibilities to say, except for the speaker, the first speaker, who was shortly over time by 20 seconds. But I think the speech was so engaging that we can be lenient enough to her for those 20 seconds, I believe, over timing of 20 seconds, including the buffer of 30 seconds. So this is it. I don't see anyone was undertimed. I must congratulate all the table topic speaker because they were all above 1 minute and lesser than 2 minutes, or at least on time. So nothing special to report, just congratulatory note for keeping the time to everyone. Thank you, and back to you, Ruku.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yasmin, for your report. Now, coming to the general evaluation, first of all, Toastmaster of the day, you did a great job of bringing a very, very innovative theme to the meeting and carrying it out very, very smoothly. But a small suggestion, try to involve people when you are being the Toastmaster, because that creates excitement within the meeting. So that is really important. And one more thing, if you are keeping some theme, you can bring in some more information related to that theme so people may know that why you have kept it. Otherwise, it was very, very smooth and you did a great job. Coming to table topics, Deja, you kept up with the theme and designed the table topics in a way that everybody would share their ideas and thoughts according to the theme which has been kept. So kudos, great job. Now, coming to Sarah. Sarah, you did an excellent evaluation of first putting out the appreciations and then recommendations. That was a great way to do the evaluation, and you did an excellent job overall. Now, the grammarian and counter, you always do a brilliant job by taking out wrong pronunciations and highlighting the words which you like the most. So a very well job done by you too. Timer, you were very frequent and appropriate with your timings, and that's all, I guess. I have left no one. Yeah, that's all for my general evaluation report, and back to you, the Toastmasters of the day.
Thank you, Rukaya, for this great evaluation and this moment that we can ameliorate here in that moment. Thank you, Rukaya. And well, I think that it's all for me with this same source of power, and I hope that you could enjoy this theme. Now it's time to give the screen to our president, Aju Anantia. Aju, the screen is yours. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ixchel. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for a good meeting. Thank you for a good election. Thank you for stepping up as club officer. And I would like to thank our three of our guests, Farun, Silpi, and Akib. Special for Arun, Farun, and Silpi. Would you like to comment something on how you know our club?
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. We
club.
would like to hear from you.
Sure. I know your club through 5-star Toastmasters, and I keep visiting a lot of Toastmaster groups, but you're one of a kind, a lot of value that I could see here, a lot of clarity and simple language that is being used in the group, a lot of patience in the group. Nobody's in a hurry. There's a lot of harmony. This is what I could figure out. And I think I'd like to revisit next week. Next week also you'll be having same time?
Yes, true.
So next time I'm coming in. Thank you very much.
Shilpi, are you a Toastmaster? Which club you belong to?
5-star Toastmasters.
5-star.
Yeah, I'm a leadership coach, but I am not a Toastmaster.
Oh, you are not a Toastmaster. 5-star.
Not as yet, yes.
Not yet. Okay. Thank you very much, Sylvie, for sharing that. And now let's move on to Farun. Farun, hi. Hi, Farun.
Hello, Ayu.
How
if
do
I'm not
you
wrong,
know
is
us?
it Ayu?
Yes, Ayu.
Oh, I'm sorry. I read the second name and I'm extremely confused. I am good. How are you, Ayu? I am currently attending the meeting from Barcelona, Spain. I am a part of Vision Toastmasters back in India, and I have attended this meeting courtesy of Mr. Akib. I don't know how he got your contact there in US, but I was absolutely getting bored because I don't have work today. I don't have the work today, so I was like, let me attend some meetings. Let me finish off my quota of attending the meetings which I have set for myself.
Well,
that's
Farun, Farun, Sylvie, we are here every Monday, 7 a.m. Oregon time. So wherever you are, we're always online, and you are very welcome to visit us every Monday.
I have one question for you. By any chance, do you guys have a guest WhatsApp group wherein I can join, or even if you do send the information by email?
Yeah. Would you please put your email in the chat?
Yep, I am. I just received a message from Tiger.
Yes,
I am doing it right now.
we will invite you every week.
Oh, would love to join. It's 5 o'clock in the evening for me, right here in Spain.
Mm. Well, thank
What
you,
better than to
everyone.
spend the Monday?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. We don't go anywhere. We can have some chat after the meeting, but we will adjourn the meeting first. With this, I announce the meeting adjourned.